Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Right Trader. And today I want to talk about why has Bitcoin been moving so slowly. It's no surprise that for a while now, Bitcoin has been going down. And even recently, as we did bottom at $60,000, we still have been sort of in this consolidation range where we moved up a bit, but now we're seeing that downside come back again, and it has a lot of people worried. So, what's actually going on here, and why does it feel like Bitcoin is dead right now? We basically haven't really seen true strength, a true bull market since that $125,000 top. In fact, we moved down 52% on the dot, which is a pretty aggressive correction. So I want to move you guys over to the weekly time frame because that is where all the secrets lie. And what I mapped out here is the explanation for why Bitcoin has been moving so slowly. So in green, you can see the bull market moves, and in red, you can see the bear market moves. Okay. Now, back here in 2013, 2014, we had our first extended bear market. Okay. That lasted 1,204 days, and we had a peak drop of about 82%. Okay. What was followed was a bottom to top move, expansion bull market of 10,000%, guys. Guess what happened next? 1,022 days of bear market. Total drop, 82%. So you might have heard of the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, and I'm afraid that nothing has changed. History is just repeating itself. We then got a 2,000% move, which took 973 days to complete. After that, another bear market, guys. This time, a bit different. We only dropped about 76%, and it didn't take as long to complete that bear market cycle. It took about 700 days before we started moving up higher again. And you probably see where I'm going with this, but we already just had our bull market. In fact, historically, we were very similar to what we did in the past. We saw a 1,036-day bull market, and that was a bottom to top move of 689%. So, where are we now? Well, and what does that mean? Look back historically, guys. Bear markets are usually not pretty. Now, that's not to say that we can't have any upside in bear markets, because a lot of the time we do see a mid-cycle move higher. That can be 100%, 200%, even nearing 300%. Back here in 2023, we saw a move that brought us about 100% higher during the bear market. But overall, what you'll notice during these bear markets is price remains very, very flat. You can almost draw a line right through the bear market. And a lot of that bear market, especially at the beginning, is a front-loaded drop lower until we find that bottom. And that's happened every single time. Now, maybe you're losing hope here, but this video should actually make you very optimistic on the future of Bitcoin, because you have to look deeper in the details, guys. Yes, Bitcoin feels like it's dead right now, but is that actually the case? Well, first off, remember how I said that these bear market cycles are getting shorter? You might have heard that we're going to see a shallow bear market, and that very well could be true, but a certain amount of time still has to go by. So look at that. First bear market, 1,200 days. Second one, about 1,000 days. The one after that, 700 days. Look at the bull markets. 861 days, 973 days, 1,036 days. The bull markets are getting longer. the bear markets are getting shorter. Now, the price moves are getting a little bit more narrow each time. And that's normal. That directly correlates to the market cap of Bitcoin, which is now a $1.5 trillion asset. Bitcoin is still going to see exponential growth, and I'll show you at the end of the video why. But you can't expect the same type of bull markets as we had back in the early days, where there was 10,000 or 2,000% bullish moves, okay? As you can see, those bullish moves have been becoming a lot less, but I still think we could see anywhere from a 300 to 500% move on the next bull run. And in fact, I want to bring you to where we currently are, okay? So 125K was that top, and I do think that there's a very high chance that 60K was the bottom. There is a small chance, I'd say about a 15% chance, that we have another dip where we could go back towards 60K, or in a very bad case scenario, it is feasible historically that we would go down to around $45,000. But I don't think that's extremely likely because most of the drop tends to be front loaded. So I'd say there's about a 15 to 20% chance that we actually do go down to $45,000. I'll go ahead and mark it right here. But my primary thesis remains that 60K could very well be the bottom. And I actually think that we're going to go up all the way to $100,000 during this bull market. And so in a way, it will be much more shallow of a bear market, because if 60K was indeed the bottom, that's only a 52% drop compared to that historical 75% plus. If we go down to 45,000, don't be panicked, guys. We're still doing a lot better than previous bear markets. And now what we have to talk about, the last thing, is, well, how long is it going to take for this bear market to complete? And we already have the answer, guys. So right now, we've been in the bear market 238 days, okay? This bear market has lasted. And we need a certain amount of time to go by before we complete that bear market. Historically, you've heard about that 4-year bear market cycle, but we actually have a more precise answer, guys, which is the next Bitcoin halving. A lot of people, for some reason, have just totally forgotten about this. But the next Bitcoin halving, which has been the primary indicator for the beginning of a bull run every single time, guys, is in 685 days, which brings us to April 12th, 2028, approximately, because depending on the blocks, that can change by a few days or so, but approximately the next Bitcoin halving will be on the 12th of April, 2028. And I already mapped it out for you guys, but that would bring us to 924 days of bear market, which is much more in line with these previous periods. Now, one thing that I want to point out is we very often see Bitcoin start to run up as it gets close to the halvings, okay? And this time could be very well could see the price start to increase as we get closer to the end of our bear market cycle. But overall, we probably are still going to see that type of flatness, that type of consolidation, and unfortunately, that ugly bear market, as we always have seen. But there is light at the end of the tunnel here, and that light is the beautiful market that will be the multi-100% move that you don't want to miss. If we go over to the monthly chart, okay, this is an ultra long-term perspective, guys, and the picture will become ever so clear. If we look at Bitcoin, we actually have never put in a lower low. We've only had higher lows and higher highs, which means that we are uptrending long term. That cycle has never been broken, guys. And in fact, if you look at it from the ultra long term perspective, Bitcoin is still going up parabolically. So don't let the FUD and the haters confuse you. Don't let people drag you into a bunch of complicated theories, fundamentals behind Bitcoin, or anything like that. Nothing has changed, guys. This is just purely history repeating itself. And when we look at it from the 1 week time frame, meaning each candle is 1 week, we have a very clear picture of how these bull market and bear market cycles are mapped out. And right now we are in a bear market, which explains why Bitcoin is being slow and why it feels like Bitcoin is dead right now. But the reality is that it's not, and that long term, this is just part of that cycle. And actually, it's the best time to accumulate Bitcoin. If we go back to that 1 month chart, guys, I'm sure a lot of you would have wanted to get in during these pullbacks, okay? On the ultra long term, the bear markets literally just look like pullbacks on this parabolic chart that is Bitcoin. So remember this video, guys. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps support the channel. And I hope to see a lot more of you here soon because I'll be making much more content. And remember this chart, guys. Remember this video, because when we see that multi 100% move, hopefully you guys will be on the winning side of things. And everybody that chose to ignore the history of Bitcoin is going to be on the losing side, because this is purely history repeating itself. Nothing has changed with Bitcoin, guys. It's still the best asset in the world. Thank you so much for watching. See you all very soon.